Hi there, it's Diane Evans here with Stampin' with Diane. Here's another video in my Back to Basics series, and today I'm going to talk about a really simple technique, and I'm wanting to actually incorporate it into a card sketch. Learning a technique is great, but to get to use it, you really need to practice it, and secondly, put it into a card. So today we're going to use this particular card sketch, and we're going to do the technique and do it along with there. So this technique that we're going to do is called reverse masking. So this is a regular card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a layer here, and the layer is at 4 by 5 1/4, and then I have a second layer at 3 3/4 by 5 inch, and then I have an oval here. Now I'm going to show you what I did. What I did was I took a scrap piece of paper the same size as this particular cardstock, and this one happens to be from the Tasteful Labels dies, and I used this one, but you could use any shape. Like you could use an oval, you could even use punches to make these shapes in here. But what I want to do is we're like I say, this technique is called reverse masking. So I'm just going to take in, and I'm using different colored cardstock. Somebody told me that these are really strange colors to use together, but I absolutely love using these colors. And that's Crumb Cake, Basic Black, and Berry Vanilla. So I'm just going to layer this on, and I think it's going to be this way. And I'm going to bring in my basic gray stamp pad and a sponge. Now, these sponges, Stampin' Up has these sponges. They come in a pack of 3, and they're like this. And then you just cut them. And then all I do, you could mark them with certain colors, but all I do is I put mine in a nylon bag, and I put it in my washing machine, and I get all my my sponges washed, so it doesn't matter what color I use for my sponges. So I'm just going to take this. I always rub off first, and we're just going to sponge in here. If you don't rub off, you're going to end up with some really funny sort of marks on your sponging. And you can do this sort of as dark as you want it, as light as you want it. I'll show you another sample where I used a different color altogether. So I'm just going to go in there. And I like to rub a little bit darker around the edges. I think that's about right. And then I'm going to actually use this particular stamp set. Now, this stamp set has some writing on it. It's got some other different things on there. So I want to be able to put this in here. And by me doing this, we're reverse masking it. So let's see. I'm going to put this on there now. I think I'll use the basic gray again. Whoops. And see, you want to make sure that you keep this in the same spot. You could go and use repositional tape. I'll get it back in the same spot. There we go. Yeah, like I say, you could use repositional tape. So then I'm just going to take this like this, and I'm just going to stamp down just like so. Now I'm hoping that this is dark enough. I've done this a while back and I completely forgot. Okay, now it's pretty dark, but it'll be okay. So see what I mean? You get like a reversed mask on there. It probably would have been better done in a lighter gray, but we'll see how this turns out. And then I took this part of the stamp set, and I've got that mounted, and I'm going to take my Memento ink because I want quite a dark color on there. Now this is probably not one that I've got inked up. I'm just going to grab another one. Remember, when you do buy your ink, it's always to buy re-inkers for it. see. Yeah, it's going to be okay. And then I'm just going to stamp this like so. I say this printing would have probably been better if it was done. There we go. Okay, that's not too bad. And then we want to put some words here. Now, to me, this is like a get well kind of card. I just grabbed a stamp set, so I have this one. I think I'll just use this stamp set here. So I'm just going in with my Memento again. Kind of a drab color card, but like I say, I used to do lots of cards in this particular color. So I'm just going to go down there like that. See, if that was a little bit darker, like this particular one was, it works a lot better. Now, one thing I'm going to do, which is another technique that you can do, is I am taking one of my Stampin' Right markers, and this happens to be a gray one, and I'm just taking it like this, and I'm just going to flick this, and this is just going to take that total starkness away. See where it just adds just a little bit of a fleck in there. And then, of course, I'm going to, on this card sketch, and I'll bring that card sketch back in. It's got a piece of ribbon on it. So I had that ribbon here. There we go. And I'm just going to tie what I call a faux bow. So I'm just going to wrap this around here at the bottom. And I always use like a tear and tape, always when I put on ribbon, because I don't want it coming off. I know I found cards from years ago and the ribbon is all falling off, and it's because you don't have it you know, like really secured down. So let me just take this off of there. And I'll just put this back on there. So, like I say, a little bit duller of a card, this particular one. Oops. And then we put that in there. And then I'm going back in again and putting that tear and tape back over top of this so that this ribbon doesn't come off. And I'm not taking it off. Now, I am using this new Stampin' Seal. There is a technique how to use this Stampin' Seal, so I'm actually going to show you today. This is what you call a run and roll technique. So you just take it, you just run very lightly, take it like that, and roll. And we'll do it again on this side, and roll. And how that actually looks is if I put it like this, if you're taking this, you're running, and then you're just rolling it back on itself. You won't run into issues if you do it that way, trust me. Okay, so on this card sketch, I'm just going to take my cardstock and I'm going to fold into the mountain again and use my bone folder. And on this particular card sketch, if you're a linear type person, you may have issues with this. But I'm going to put my card base, my first layer, I'm going to put it like that. Sometimes it's really nice to have a different kind of look to the front of your card instead of always being so linear. So let's just go and put this like this. I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to put it like there. And then I'm just going to put this on, and this is the part that's the faux bow. Just like that. And then we'll give it a bit of a haircut. I had my ribbon scissors here. Well, I am not going to cut without them because I know these scissors are kind of dull. Scissors do dull with using, oh, that's not too bad, I guess. Using them for paper, right? So, okay, that doesn't work too bad. So, like I say, that's reverse masking. That's the card sketch. So you can see it's all off center. And then I did another card with the reverse masking as well, but done totally different, and a different card sketch, and it's like this. So it just shows you by doing different things, like just sponging, then stamping on it, it's called reverse masking. So I hope that gave you a technique to play with, very simple technique, and where you can just reverse mask, and it almost gives you another layer or another dimension to your card by doing this type of masking. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope to see, actually post some cards on here that you've done with this reverse masking. I'd love to see them. Now, if you do not have a demonstrator and live in Canada, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Every month I do give away a free tutorial online if you use this hostess code. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd really, really appreciate it. So have a great day. Bye for now.